Hello YouTube, this is Lachlan T 1984 and I want to show you this toy that I've had since childhood. It's called a rap band. It looks like a tiny little Walkman or personal stereo. It has 4 buttons on the top.
0 people.
And they're labelled with the sort of controls you'd find on a cassette player. Rewind, record and fast forward. But then the red button on the far right there has on and off written on it. On the front there's I guess a faux radio tuning dial that has all the typical frequencies you'd find on an AM/FM radio. Where the cassette door is, there's a red plastic lens. On the back of the unit is the loudspeaker, a belt clip, and the battery compartment. It takes 2 AA batteries. Basically, this is... I don't know what else you call this other than a very basic and really very primitive toy drum machine.
0 people.
If I press one of the buttons on the top of the unit, it makes a different drum sound. If I press the one on the far left, it makes the sound of a snare drum. If I press the button in the middle, it makes the sound of a bass drum. If I press the third button from the left, so there are 4 buttons, the third button from the left, if I press that, it makes the sound of a cymbal. Don't mind voiceover talking. If I press the on-off button, it plays this continuous drum rhythm. And you'll see that there's a light on the front that blinks.
0 people.
If I start pressing the buttons, the white buttons, the first 3 buttons from the left, you can basically create fill-ins. If I press the button that played the sound of the cymbal when the toy was off, it plays that. If I press the one in the middle,
0 people.
if I press the one on the far left, it does that. So, you can actually, if you know what you're doing, change the rhythm a bit. It doesn't really change the beat, but you can alter the drum rhythm a little bit. If you press the buttons at the right time, you can get it to do different... You can get it to change the drum rhythm a little bit. Oops. We'll try the one in the middle. This one's a little bit harder to do and it's not very interesting.
0 people.
Ah.
People.
And now we'll try the one on the left.
0 people. Zero people. Zero people.
That's basically what it does.
Viewfinder.
That's basically what the toy does. I actually had 2 of these at one point. I got one for my birthday in 1993 when I turned 9. And then I got another one for Christmas 1993 from the same people. Now, it's actually just as well that happened because I actually broke the on-off button on the first one that I had, the one that I got for my birthday in 1993. These buttons are the little sort of rubber chiclet buttons, like the kind you'd find on the original ZX Spectrum computer from Sinclair Research. Or do you any of you remember those little piano books you used to get in the late 80s and early 90s? Do be quiet, voiceover.
Viewfinder. Viewfinder.
We had my
Focus locked.
sister and I had a couple of them. Please excuse my screen reader. My sister and I had a couple of those piano books, and they had these little chiclet keys on them that you press, and the piano would play a note, a sort of a very basic square wave sounding note. They're the buttons that have like a little, I guess, carbon fiber conductive pad on the bottom of them that would mate with a metal pad inside the unit. And I think on the first one that I had, the button was starting to come away. I guess whatever holds the button to the toy was starting to come out. And I pulled it off the rest of the way. And of course then, the toy would still work, but the on-off button would come out entirely and you could easily lose it, which eventually happened. I eventually did lose that button. And of course, because those buttons are electrically conductive, you can't just put your finger in there and press against the metal pad in order to activate it. So, I'm glad I have this one still. This probably, up until last year, this hadn't been used for probably 25 years. I can't remember when I last used it as a child. But I remember I found it, might have even been in 2023 or very late, or sometime last year I found it in a basket. And I put batteries in it and it worked. And then just recently I decided I'd get it out and play with it again. And I put batteries in it and it works perfectly. Well, for the most part, yes, it does. Sometimes these buttons will trigger multiple times when you press them. Like that. I have no idea who made this toy. I know it was made in China. I have tried to look on eBay for these and have not found them. I know there were a couple of variants of these toys. I think a girl in my primary school class had one of these, except I think hers had a green lens on the front instead of a red one, and I don't remember what sounds it made. They might have been very similar sounds to mine, but they might not have been quite the same. And I know that a cousin of mine had a toy called a rock drum, which was actually a drum with like a plasticky skin on it, but on the opposite side of the drum was a battery compartment and a loudspeaker and 4 big round buttons that were different colours. And when you pressed them, the toy would make similar sounds to this. There were 4 sounds, not 3. There was the bass drum, the snare drum, the cymbal, and what I think might have been a tom-tom, or a temple block, or a humdrum or something like that. The sound that I produced was that noise that this one was making. That noise. And when you put the unit, when you press the demo button, it played this same drum beat. And when you pressed one of the buttons, the machine will make a noise like, it would make a noise like, I don't know what happened to that rock drum. My cousin was only a baby when he got it. I think eventually the speaker became dislocated from the unit and was just floating about inside the case. But I do remember playing with that quite a bit when I was about 14. And my cousin was just a baby. I do actually have an electronic keyboard that has this same drum rhythm on it, but its implementation is not very good. You can't, it has 4 different percussion sounds, a bass drum, a snare drum, a hi-hat, and a cymbal, but if you put it into like the drum rhythm mode, and then press one of the percussion sounds, buttons, it restarts the rhythm. It doesn't let you fill in like this unit does. It doesn't let you drop one of the sounds in and fill the rhythm in. It restarts the whole rhythm, so it completely messes you up. It's not designed very well at all. Anyway, that's a brief demonstration of this toy. Thank you for watching, and feel free to leave a comment if you have one.